And the last thing on my report is I want to respond to a letter that was written in the Chagrin Valley Times by Diane Jones that it raised some concerns about our audit findings. And, you know, I want to direct this to, you know, people like Carl and Wilma and other people here who they don't know what's going on behind the doors here. They don't understand, you know, what's true and what's not true when information is presented to them. And, you know, I want to make sure that they understand that despite what is implied in the letter, you know, we have a healthy accounting of the funds here at the township. You know, there's an implication that we overspent our resources. That's not true. Last year we had a $1.9 million surplus. You know, I want to make sure that everybody understands that, you know, we're doing a good job here, keeping an eye on our resources and making sure that we don't overspend them. There's never been a misappropriation of funds at the township. You know, there I think was a motivation to spread some misinformation and have people draw some incorrect conclusions from the information that was provided in that letter. So I just want to assure everybody that, you know, everything is going along smoothly. And Diane.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to respond. I do want to make it perfectly clear to everybody who is here assembled that the information that I provided was totally direct quotes from the auditing entity, which is Julian and Grube, which has done Auburn Township's auditing for years. And the content of that letter is online at David Yost. I believe, the state auditor.
And I absolutely encourage everyone to look at the audit findings themselves, and you can call me if you want an explanation of the audit findings. You know, there's some things that are out of context. There was a reference to some appropriations, and it was $697,000 of appropriations. And the explanation for that is, which I did provide to Diane, the explanation is that when we moved money out of the general fund into other funds, the auditor has decided that we need to have that recertified by the Geauga County auditor as income. So even though that money is on our books, when we take it out of the general fund and move it to another fund, they want the auditor to recertify that. So what our auditor, Julian and Groove, did was they said we cannot count those appropriations on our books. So we had to remove the $697,000 in appropriations off the books. And I don't want anyone to get the impression that that means that we overspent our budget or that we overspent and spent money that we didn't have, because we had a $1.9 million surplus at the end of the year. So I just want to make sure that people have a good and contextualized understanding of what those findings mean. And if anybody has any questions about the audit findings or anything that they may have read in the newspaper, you know, please, you know, if you have any questions right now, I'm happy to answer them, or call me.
Isn't there a statement that was made when you weren't even in the fiscal office?
Yeah, I mean, there was the implication that in Diane's letter that I was the fiscal officer or was responsible somehow for 2012 and 2013, and you know, I didn't become fiscal officer until October of 13, so it was only 2 months that I served as fiscal officer during that audit period.
For somebody who was sitting here all that time, you'd think they'd know that.
Well, actually, in fairness, you were appointed, and there were 2 audits following your appointment, And if you will
That's
recall
correct.
back, on our website, we kind of gave you the benefit of the doubt for that first audit because you really did come as a newcomer. Unfortunately, this is
The
4 years
14
later.
and 15 audits were the first audit of my work,
Really?
which was one audit.
Really? You didn't become auditor in 2013?
I became at the end of 13.
Okay.
So 14 and 15 were under my
Regardless, I
my
don't do the auditing. I just
Make up,
recounted
Manipulate the facts.
No,
make
no,
up things.
no manipulating them. I'm sorry it's so upsetting to you guys.
It's not upsetting.
It's not
a
upsetting, but
history
I want to
of
make
that.
sure that our residents really understand
Right,
the facts.
and I invite them to go to davidyost.org. If they're patient enough, they can
You know,
read the entire
You also
30-some
stated that
pages, or they can
in
read the findings of
2015,
fact.
you stated that there were invoices that were predating purchase orders.
That was the quote of
and
Julian and Group.
that's completely not true. There was
Well, I
no
can't help it.
finding in 2015 for
Wait,
that.
you better clear that up with Julian and Group then, because that was a
I don't
direct
need to
quote
clear
on
it up.
their
I read
report.
the audit report.
Well, okay,
There is
then
absolutely no. We
I can't
fixed
help
that
that.
issue.
That was the information in print. So you note the whole letter was full of quotes. My
Right.
only comment was the 2 questions at the end of the letter, and that was no accusation. Those were simply questions about
The-
what could possibly be the results. So I'm glad everybody read this letter and we got this much attention, and I hope there'll be time
Well-
left because I have 2 more questions about 2 warrants.
I